Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Now, stand back for your own safety.
Steve, what's up?
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Steve. Where Paulie at?
Here we go.
I'm checking out. I will respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done.
Steve is my favorite part of the show. How's that?
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot. I'll just shut up and let you talk. I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac.
3, 2, 1, and
This is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Check the Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte. We have made it to Friday here on Orange Nation. We've got two guests in hour number 2, Isaac Schade from Locked On Basketball and the Locked On Tar Heels podcast. He'll join us at 1:15 to talk college hoops, and then Eric Devendorf right after him at 1:30. We will talk SU hoops, of course, with Devo, plus we'll mix in your phone calls throughout, especially here in hour number 1 at 315-437-7644. What's up, Paulie?
Not much, Steve. How'd your draft show go?
I think it went well. We got through it. And
how'd you sleep?
I never sleep well in hotel rooms, so I
in a hotel?
Fell asleep at like 1 and was up at 5:15, so not
Yikes.
well.
Did you you wear the robe?
You know what? It's funny. I knew you were going to ask me that. I couldn't even find the robe.
Yeah, so your hotel didn't have a robe. It's a bougie hotel thing.
No robe. It was a Hilton. It was a nice hotel. There was no robe.
All right. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the 5 for 5 rule?
Sure.
That used to be a thing at Arby's, right?
You're right, it was.
Now it's in college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the NCAA is trying to fast track this to get it.
It's not a good thing if you're a school that has your roster filled out already, right? Are they going to reopen the portal? All right, let's just hypothetically say Jerry may not want him back. That William Kyle could come back. They decide, okay, he comes back, and then you got this kid from App State. Does he get to go back in the portal if he doesn't want to stay?
These are all good questions. I don't know how it's going to work.
Do they expand your roster?
The other thing, too, is we saw a lot of guys throw their name in the portal who we said, well, they're out of eligibility, like Nate Kings, for instance, threw his name in the portal. We saw it last year as well.
Well, he's 6 years anyway.
No, I know. I'm not sure that this even affects Nate Kings. But my point is we saw a bunch of guys throw their name into the portal just in case. I don't know that William Kyle did. So, does William Kyle have the ability to transfer?
Yeah, I'm sure they have to open the portal for all these guys because they didn't know they were going to be able to come back.
Well, some guys were smart enough to do it ahead of time, though. They saw the deadline.
They did that last year, too.
It's true. It's true. I mean, there are a lot of questions with this.
Yes, I just don't get how it's going to work. And if it is coming, do you stop signing people right now? Do you just be like, all right, we're going to hold out until...
Well, if you think it's going to happen, then yes, probably.
Do you freeze?
The other thing, too, the other consequence of this is that you might... The price tag for the players in the portal currently may drop a little bit. So if you have your eye on somebody... but
yeah, and you could get a senior who's been there, done that, and is good.
Yeah.
But like a school like Purdue could... refurbish their whole lineup with last year's.
Yeah. Here's the thing about William Kyle. If you think there's a huge difference between him and Luke Wilson, then, you probably go after him and figure it out later. If you think that they're comparable, then you probably keep Luke Wilson and then use that money to not go after William Kyle, but to go after another senior to address another need, which could be, again, we've talked point guard, we've talked shooter, we've talked power forward. I don't know.
Well, that's another interesting thing. Can William Kyle play the 4? Can this other kid play the 4?
It's a valid point. I mean, they're both 6'9".
Yeah,
so,
you go big like everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
you just can't shoot.
I was going to say, if you do that, you take some offense off the floor, though. So that's the issue with that. But it does, it does give you some flexibility, obviously. So, yeah, I mean, we shall see. I mean, I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing for Syracuse per se. Like, if you're asking, like, how does it impact Syracuse? I mean, I don't love it for just college basketball in general because it's going to create more chaos.
Well, it's going to happen eventually anyways.
Well, yes, but then everybody's on the same playing field and everybody's filling out their rosters at the same time. I mean, the fact that Syracuse already has so many roster spots spoken for, I know the tendency is to say, well, this hurts them because they don't have a lot of wiggle room. They may only, pick up a guy or two anyway.
Yeah, but it also makes schools get older. And that's the hardest thing to beat, really, is when you get older, better older players.
However, Syracuse, I mean, the guys they picked up, a lot of them are seniors, juniors and seniors. I mean, you do have some experience on this particular roster.
But, if you get a bunch of, if there's another Kadari Richmond out there or,
Yeah, you're talking about the fifth and sixth year guys, right? Well, I mean, 5 for 5 would be a lot of the fifth year guys. Now, Syracuse doesn't have a lot of those, but they do have a lot of juniors and seniors on this roster that have 2 years of eligibility left, that have played some college basketball somewhere else or here in the case of Kyan and Sadiq, and are continuing their careers. So. Yeah, this isn't a bunch of freshmen. Young team will not be an excuse for anything next year. They're not young. They are. This is a mature roster that they've put together. So that is a good thing for Jerry. I'm fine with this rule moving forward if it does in fact include the caveat that you can only transfer once and play right away, and then the second time you transfer before you graduate, you would have to sit. You could transfer a second time, to go to grad school, but I think that's really important because right now, more so than all these waivers and all these lawsuits and whatnot, I think more so it's the fact that, these guys are going out and they're playing for 4 schools in 4 years or 5 schools in 5 years, and it truly is free agency, and I think that is a detriment to the game. So if they can somehow corral that, and if this 5 for 5 helps do that, then I'm all for it.
He wouldn't come back here, but if a kid like JJ could go somewhere else and maybe fix his shot or something, it would really help him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think for the student athletes, I mean, of course, it's a good thing for them because they get an opportunity. For those guys who aren't going to go play in the NBA, they can make some NIL money and prolong their college career. And so, it's obviously good news for them. For college basketball in general, it's going to happen one way or the other. I would prefer it. We wait a year and then everybody starts at the same time, knowing what the rules are. I feel like changing the rules like mid portal and mid off season is. Some schools will be at a disadvantage, but the NCAA is going to do what the NCAA is going to do,
especially if they think they can get better.
Sure,
yeah. It's I don't know. Everything is lawless now. College sports is really not fun anymore. It's not fun to talk about. It's not fun to watch. It's just bleh.
It's not fun to watch. I still enjoy watching. This is the thing about the college game.
It's not fun.
The product has gotten better. Like the caliber of player in college basketball right now is better because guys are staying. Like Tyus Battle, we were robbed of Tyus Battle's last year in college because it was, I'm getting too old. I got to go in the draft. I got to get my clock started. I got to sign my first contract. And Tyus Battle left. And I think you're seeing guys like that stay and want to stay, sue to stay so that they can play here longer. So I think,
but it's not fun if you root for a school like Syracuse or Wake Forest or any of the middle of the pack schools because you just know you can't compete financially.
I mean, isn't it kind of like Major League Baseball in that way?
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be. It's college athletics.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think there are plenty of examples of it that, unfortunately, this is the way it's going. I understand where you're saying that it's unfortunate, but to say that you said you don't enjoy watching it, I still enjoy watching college sports.
I just know it's all so shady and gross now. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan. The tournament.
The rebuttal to that will be that it was shady and gross before. It just wasn't on the table.
We didn't get to talk about it.
So that's the rebuttal. And I think that the caliber of player in the college game for the most part is better now than it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I just liked it when people were getting paid under the table in brown bags. It's more fun that way. I don't know. I just feel like amateur sports, which it's not anymore, should be a fair playing field all the way around.
Yeah, but
and then you get
it hasn't been for a while.
You're the one that liked the Cinderellas in the tournament.
Of course,
and stuff. They're gone.
Everybody loves
They're gone. They went away this year.
Yeah.
Texas was the Cinderella.
I know. And
they got probably one of the highest amounts of money for any school in the country.
Yeah, right. No, it's fair. I mean, you're still going to see upsets in the tournament, but not to the same degree. I mean, we almost saw Siena beat Duke, right? I mean, it almost happened, but
it's not horseshoes or hand grenades,
yeah.
Steve. You know that saying.
No, I hear you. And there's still going to be upsets here and there. It's not going to be to the degree that we used to see, and that's unfortunate. But times are changing, and again, you could complain about it or you could get with the times. And I mean,
look at Indiana. Like, they'll probably be good in basketball again, but what they did in football, it is coaching, but it's just money.
Yeah.
Right? They have a lot of money, they went out and bought a roster that coach wanted.
A lot of money, but they were smart about who they spent their money on. And again, you look at how that team was made up. You talk about get old. They went after a certain profile of player. And it worked. And you're right. Coaching does matter, but they also spent their money wisely. And they built a roster that complemented each other.
Yeah. They went from a completely irrelevant school till money got involved, and then they won a natty. So it's money.
It is. I would say I agree with you. But anybody can do it, right? if
you've got the money. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Indiana is one of the few schools that could go from being irrelevant in a sport to being the best because they have the money.
Yeah.
Want to take our first time out, Steve?
Okay, we can do that.
Get this show over with. We'll stay right on time. We'll be out here at 2:00. We'll get into our weekend. We'll go party it up.
That was our opening drive brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero. Phone lines open all of hour number 1, 315-437-7644. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Catch Sunday Night Baseball every Sunday night at 6:30.
Dominic, I don't mean to do this to embarrass you. All right. Please, I thank you for your kindness, but I'm not going to do it on the air. I'm just going to do it in the commercial break. All right, Steve, is this the proper way to handle this? But it is too funny not to acknowledge, right? Dominic, I love your note. Thank you. And
everybody in the chat's going to get a kick out of it.
Yes. So Dominic sent me a shirt. It was very nice of him. Thank me for getting him tickets to a game and to helping him with baseball cards. And it was Dominic. I got to do this. He bought me a shirt, and it's a halter top. It's like a half shirt.
It's a crop top.
It's a crop top. He bought me a half shirt. If it was 1984, it'd be cool. But thank you. Please wear it. Thank you, though, Dom. It's the thought that counts. It was very nice of you. I am not wearing it. So thank you for the halter top or half shirt. Your son did it? I'll put it on over my undershirt. Is that okay? Should I wear it for a whole segment, Steve?
Well, then you got to bring it up on the radio if you wear it for a second.
Hey, get out of the way so my fat gut doesn't come in. Am I out of camera right here?
Yeah, you're good. You'll leave the tags on?
Yeah. I could show under boob right now if I wanted to. So there you go. Where to the gym? No, that might actually make the wall in the background. That might actually get pinned up in the background. Yeah, that's going to go in Orange Nation history, and that'll go right up here. Nice half shirt. Steve, I'm wearing one of the hats you bought me.
I noticed that. I was going to say something.
It matches my shirt today. Wearing my NWA shirt. Someone canceled plans with me today, Steve, and I'm happy. I'm one of those people that when canceled plans come, I'm like, oh, shucks. How about them Padres? They haven't played anybody. Yeah, in 1984, that would have been a killer shirt. I could wear it with my pink short shorts. Apparently, you could send me anything, yes. Women's shirts. The number 7 song, we're partying like it's 1999, Steve. I Still Believe, Mariah Carey.
It was not Tupac?
Oh, it's a slow skate. It was not Tupac.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I teased everybody with an actually good song. We started with a slow skate.
Still playing, just so you know.
I got it, Steve.
Okay.
Nobody else can hear that but you.
Okay.
Just stop.
All right. Let's
You're
go to the phone
perfect.
lines. I didn't know. I was not saying.
I host a national draft show.
I
Look at
didn't-
me.
Didn't say that. It was just letting you know we could still hear the
Thank
music.
God
At
we
least
don't have
I
to
can.
hear about that anymore.
Brian in Syracuse kicking us off today. Brian, what's going on?
Hey, guys, great show. Always entertaining.
Thank you.
Bringing it back to the old days, like Paulie was saying, go back a little bit further than 99. Thinking 88, back then, around that time, we had a first-round draft pick. We had a play away from a national championship in 87. 88 had an undefeated football season. 3-peat in lacrosse for national championships, 88, 89, 90. And, just feeling really nostalgic on this beautiful day, thinking back to those glory days and looking to hear your thoughts on those days and if we can get back to there again.
Well, we allegedly had a pretty good NIL back when Derek Coleman came.
Remember the 44 on the Jeep Cherokee?
Yeah, but it was those are the glory days, and can they get back there? Yeah, it's just gonna take a little more work than it used to.
To Brian's point there, I think you can. I think you can get back there. I don't know if you can get back in all 3 sports in the same year. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, that would be different.
That's going to be a challenge because I think you're seeing that, when there are extra resources, you see a better roster. Like I think we saw extra resources with basketball last year, men's and women's. The product was better. Now it wasn't good enough to get the men in the tournament. We saw what happened. That they obviously have a new coach now, but Fran Brown came here. They threw some more money at football. He wins 10 games. Last year the injury to Angeli really hurt, and this year's going to be a big year. They put more resources into basketball last year. The women got good. The men didn't, and now they have a new head coach. And then they're pumping some more resources into basketball this year, and the men have built a roster, and we'll see what it looks like. I do think it's going to be difficult to do it all in the same year in and year out. And have those glory days of basketball and football being really, really good simultaneously. Maybe it can happen. I know that's the goal. In talking with Brian Blair, that is the goal. He said you don't pick between football and basketball at Syracuse, or lacrosse for that matter. You do it all at once, and that's going to be the challenge.
That also makes me wonder about the donations being earmarked, because Syracuse is a basketball town, and the other sports do have to survive, and the people that are running the sports might know better. Like, we could get a star quarterback if we just move $1 million this way, as opposed to, no, I want that money going to basketball.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think I understand why fans are upset about it. I do think that is ultimately the smarter approach, is to have that one pot and to do exactly what you're talking about, and to figure out what the best use of that money is. Now, I know the fans are not necessarily going to want to hear that. But again, it's not the fans giving the $200 that matters as much as the business is given, or the large donors that are given a chunk of money. And if they're okay with it, that's ultimately what matters the most. Yeah. And you still want those smaller donations. And again, I think Brian Blair alluded to the fact that as things move along here, the smaller donations will be able to be earmarked. But I think it is smart right out of the gate here to streamline things, have that one bucket, that you pull from, and then decide what the best use of that money is.
Yeah, and everybody should realize that Syracuse isn't stupid. Their money will go to football and basketball as the top priority. It's just, you may have said, hey, some company might say, hey, here's $1 million. I wanted to go to basketball, but they need, $25,000 of it to get themselves over the top on another one. So you got to move it. And you got to give them flexibility in order to win.
I do understand if you played like on the women's volleyball team, for instance, and you're like, I want to give back, but I want to give back to my program. There should be a way to do that. And my assumption is there will be a way to do that.
I'm sure there is a way to do it now also. It's just not
being publicized.
Yes.
Right? That's not what they want. They want it just to go to one pot. Yeah. So in any event, more phone calls. Scooter in Jamesville up next. Scooter, what's going on?
Yeah, the problem I got, and no one seemed to care, and to me I thought it was going to be a big topic. I don't even remember Carson Beck was asked a question.
Yeah.
Was he 6 years? He says, I haven't been to class in 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not going to class, that means you're not a college student. So what did you register and just hang out? I mean, that's why I'm worried about this 5-on-5. Here we go again. If you want to say that the universities represent sports, but if you're not going to class, then you're not a college student, are you?
I think it's a good question, Scooter, and I think each university and institution is different. I think if you
have to go to class.
Right, you have to go to class at SU, and it would be nice if there were some uniform regulations with the grade aspect of it, because what could happen, Scooter, this could end up being a good thing. That if you have athletes in school for 5 years, and most of them are staying now because it behooves of them to stay and to earn the NIL in college, as opposed to going to like the G League and trying to go up through the minor leagues or going overseas. If you're in college longer, theoretically, you have more of a chance to graduate. And if you have to take less credit, say you take 12 credits a semester, for 5 years, you're going to get there, right? Yeah. So, it could end up being a good thing in the long run. I understand Scooter's concern and his point, and I think that the rules are different at different institutions. What keeps you academically eligible? What is allowed, what's not allowed. And you're right. At a place like Syracuse or Stanford or Northwestern or Wake Forest, like Duke, they're gonna make sure you're going to class. Other places, maybe not as much. And apparently, when Carson Beck was at Miami, he didn't have to go to class at all.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, Steve, how this is all going to play out. But because you remember when we were younger, if people want to go back to the heyday, like people would sign with schools and then they had to be they wouldn't make it in because they were academically ineligible. Like, how are all these kids that are transferring eligible? It doesn't seem to make sense, especially if you got a kid coming from a small school to a major university. Like, do they have enough credits to get in? Is their GPA high enough? Who knows if that's even being enforced anymore.
Well, right. That the enforcement piece of it has gone by the wayside. And I think we've seen that, right, with the less and less that the NCAA has been able to enforce anything. I think just the rules have been relaxed across the board, and schools are taking advantage of it as an opportunity to, basically pay hired guns to come in and win games for them, right? And the academic piece has gone by the wayside. And so, maybe this 5 for 5 is a step in the right direction to potentially clean that part of it up, right? And, okay, if you're going to be in school for 5 years, yes, you have to take classes, and hopefully that will be a good thing in the long run for most athletes that stay for 5 years. They leave with a degree, And, so not only is the school benefiting from their athletic ability, but then the athlete is benefiting not just monetarily from the NIL, but also with a degree at the end of the day.
The eligibility, Paulie, is of course still enforced. What Carson Beck meant was his classes have been online for the last 2 years. It doesn't even matter if you go to classes. It's like if a regular student was transferring from, say, App State to Syracuse, there are rigorous credit limits and everything like that to get in. Like if Jalen Cox was coming, I guarantee he'd be able to get in pretty easy. It's just they have to be letting these rules slip by in order for kids.
And here's the thing about Carson Beck. Of course, he was registered for classes, but there are
he didn't go to
there
class.
are fake classes. Right, exactly. So to say that there are
all of a sudden
online classes,
Miami's on the up and up, right?
Right. To say that there are online classes, yes, there are online classes. My guess is he didn't do a lick of work. And I'm not coming at Carson Beck on that. It's just, let's be realistic here.
Yeah.
6th year in college, you're the star quarterback. Like they're going to enroll you in remember North Carolina had those fake classes for years and years.
It doesn't matter anymore now too, because you've got to pay these guys, and if you want them to stay and they flunk out, you got to keep them. Right?
Right. So you got to keep them eligible. You got to keep them happy. You're gonna pay them a lot of money to go win you games. And for a football player, it's the season is over before the spring semester starts. So they keep them eligible for a few weeks, enough that you get past the midway point, and then it doesn't matter after that.
It's just a matter of somebody needs to be able to set the rules again, and right now nobody can do it because the NCAA has no power.
And so that's what I'm saying. So maybe this 5 for 5, as much as we don't like talking about it and we don't like the direction college sports are going, maybe this is a potential step in the right direction. From an academic piece of it, if again there does need to be enforcement, but in some of that, I think right now it's falling on individual schools. Hopefully, we get back to a point where there is uniform enforcement across the board. I don't know if we'll ever get back truly to what the NCAA once was, nor do I think we necessarily want to get back to what the NCAA once was. But there has to be a happy medium from what they did and what they're doing now.
Yeah. All right. We're a little behind, Steve, on this Friday.
By about
We're
a minute.
A minute and 15 seconds.
All right. Well, let's get to a break quickly then. 315-437-7644. We'll take a time out here. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Look, my stay on time bit is old. What the hell do you want?
We watched both of you guys put shirts on.
I said to him, I was like, is it okay if I change right here? And he's like, yeah, it's fine.
You did. I said it was fine. What are you doing in here? Well, I got to get a kicker. Oh, I already have my kicker. Move this way so you're on kicker.
Did you catch my contagious lose your voice disease?
No, listen. I wasn't accusing you. I was just saying, like, I need to take all precautions necessary. So if there's any chance,
I don't know if you know, he has a draft show.
Yeah, I did.
I'm gonna bring it up here. Recap the whole.
I did not hear your air horn.
Now I don't care. But last week,
just got I'm not comfortable.
Tuesday, I did not want you to breathe on me.
Get that on a shirt. Oh.
Did you turn that up?
He's locked in.
We all got to watch what you're watching all of a sudden? Steve's that guy who's yelling in his cell phone on a train.
Oh. There you go.
What the hell's that?
Shaking my ice.
That's not annoying.
Yeah, it is.
It's not quite the level of a phone on 20 blasting some stupid reel that I don't. Yeah, it happened to me out there, and then I go sorry and immediately turn it down when the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I was like, wait, what's that noise?
I'm trying to talk to the people, and you're watching reels at subsonic volumes.
Tom Wormy reached out with a potential person for us. I just wanted to see if she was any good. She's good.
So you're doing your other job here, huh?
I opened an email. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, you're clearly more concerned about your TV job. You should have just kept your mouth shut.
I opened an email. Her last name is Wisniewski. Emily Wisniewski. I don't think she's a Cuse person.
Any plans for Friday evening, fellas? No, I had plans, but they got canceled, and I was excited about it.
there was a fist pump.
I got a text saying, you know what, I'm out. And I was like, all right, let's go. I might actually stream live on Twitch or something tonight. I haven't done that in a while. Just play some tunes and talk to the people. If you guys want to follow me, Total Eclipse of the 80s on Twitch.
You tune into his Twitch streams?
I haven't done it in like a year.
Did you tune into his Twitch streams?
His what?
His Twitch streams?
No.
I haven't done it like since COVID. No. And I haven't.
That's more than a year.
I haven't done it. I set it up at my old place and then it had to move, and now I just got it finally set up at my new place. Just sit and listen to some tunes like bros. Some 80s music.
Hall of Fame someday?
Yeah, we might have a bro date Sunday. Go to the Hall of Fame.
Every time I ask him to do something, he never wants to do anything.
You never asked me to the Hall of Fame.
Like the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Went down.
I don't know. Maybe 7, 8 o'clock. Maybe rip some packs. I want to go buy a box of Bowmans. I could do that. Listen to music, rip some packs. When you're sitting on the toilet in a public restroom, do you scroll? That's a yes. Oh. I had never heard this. I had never heard this song in my life, Steve. It's by Whitney Houston. The Heartbreak Hotel. You've heard this?
Yeah.
Number 7 in 1999. 1999 is probably the drunkest year of my life, I'm guessing. I was in my prime drinking then.
Mid-20s.
Yeah, 2003 was probably the drug, just because of the tournament run. I remember very little of New Orleans.
Really?
Yeah.
Still did your job, though.
Yeah. But we got there on Tuesday, and nobody else got there till really late in the week. And woo,
so you had fun early in the week.
Met Tom Green in a bar.
Tom Green, the MTV guy?
The comedian, yeah.
How'd that go for you?
My bum is on your face guy.
Yeah, I know who he is, yeah.
Just wanted to make it known for everybody,
Yeah.
It was good. We did this is how old it was. We did Jaeger bombs with him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was me, him, Mark Johnson, and Matt Park. We did a Jaeger bomb with him.
That's a cool story.
Yeah, it was fun. Mark Johnson shoved him like, hey, buddy, boom.
Am I remembering correctly? Oh, there you go. Am I remembering correctly that you were signing some of the team balls?
Yeah, that may have happened when I was hanging out with Matt Gorman.
It's like, here's Jerry, here's Mello, here's Warwick. Who's this guy?
Matt Gorman would sign Jose Canseco on people's basketballs, too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. I got this Canseco signed basketball. How much you want for it?
That's funny. That voice you hear, that is our producer Paul McCoy. He's in a little bit early today with today's business because we've got the real McCoy. We've got a few guests coming up in the second hour, so we're bringing you today's business a little bit earlier. What do you have for us?
I got it's brought to you by Superior Plus Propane, by the way, gentlemen. The NFL draft, of course, first round was last night. I heard, Steve, you had a show that you were hosting.
Whoa!
Yeah?
Where did this come from?
Yeah.
It was never plugged on this show ever.
Breaking news to Paulie.
Yeah, jeez.
He had no idea this morning. When you texted and said, "Do you think you're going to make it?" He went, "What? Steve's not going to be in today?"
Steve's doing a draft show? How'd it go? Like, anything shocking happened last night?
No, the only thing that was potentially going to throw a wrench into it was Mike Vrabel called that press conference at 7:20. We hit the air at 7:30. So when we found out that he was calling a press conference, obviously the speculation was, we at least had to take it into consideration that he might step down.
Yeah.
So if he announced that he was stepping down and he was, leaving his position immediately, we were going to have to put that in the show. So we did have to put a contingency plan in place just in case he announced that he was stepping down or he had been fired or, whatever the case may be. Then ended up, that didn't happen. So we just went on as business as usual. But yeah, that was, that was from 7 to 7:30. That was our, that was what we were up to, kind of planning on that contingency plan. But everything else went smoothly.
It was, that press conference, by the way, was like, what was the point? He didn't really say anything.
I think the point was he reiterated to all of the media what he had said, in that initial interview that he did.
Yeah.
Right. So I think he was just doing it for everyone, getting it out of the way. This is why I'm not going to be there on Saturday, and trying to take more responsibility. But it's the whole thing has been handled poorly by all parties involved. From the jump on this.
Yeah.
I mean,
it ruins your credibility as a reporter.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's done.
For sure. And I do wonder, and you've heard some reporters come out in recent days and talk about what's going on inside those walls with the Patriots, that, if he addressed his players initially and said, listen, I made a mistake, like present day, I'm sorry, I'm going to be better moving forward. Now stuff comes out, and I do wonder if the new pictures coming out yesterday from 6 years ago, also led to him doing this press conference yesterday. But if he lied to his players as well, like,
then
that's going to be tough for him to kind of earn their trust back, and that might hurt the dynamic in the locker room and the chemistry in the locker room. So I mean, there's and that is far down the list of the things that he needs to be concerned about right now. But I'm just saying, from a football perspective, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out if he did address the team, because he said he addressed the team. It was man to men, right? He said that man to men, I addressed the team. Well, if man to men, he wasn't honest the first time around, and now this stuff comes out that this has been going on for 6 years or whatever it was, that might be tough for guys to kind of earn his trust back.
And if he was just having an affair, I'm sure it wouldn't be all over the news. It's just, this is bad because you don't know what kind of information was given.
Yeah.
It's a bad look for everybody.
Well, the thing that gets me is he could start therapy Sunday, and nobody would know, and then they wouldn't have to say, I'm not going to be there day 3. But I feel
therapy for what?
Well, I don't know, but they're bringing it rehab or whatever they're calling it. But they're then bringing eyes to
rehab
it. The head coach is not going to be there for day 3, guys, because he's doing this. I just think, why? Just there's no need.
He's looking for sympathy.
Yeah, like just go Sunday or Monday, right? It's Sunday, whatever. Start Monday and then be back for OTAs.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just feel like they're bringing attention to it when it's just you don't want that.
If the pictures are just going to keep flowing, you got to say something.
Right. He did have to say something.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just say you're missing part of one of the biggest days of your job.
What do you got?
The other thing, too, is just last thing on this. If he's trying to save his marriage, and it sounds like he is, then for him to say to his wife, like, I obviously have the NFL draft. This is really, really important, but I'm going to spend, I know I got to focus on what's going on at home. So, I mean, that could be at play as well. Who cares, like, what he says publicly? Hopefully he takes care of what he needs to take care of privately. And man, it is a mess, though, Paulie. You're absolutely right.
All right, we'll get into this. So, Bills trade out, what was it, 3? They make 3 different trades that eventually trade out. Am I remember that right? Pick up a bunch of picks. I wrote it down. I don't have my phone on me, but they picked up a ton. Do you have it in front of you?
I do have it in front of me. So essentially,
right in front of him, it locked into his memory.
So they had they completed the trade a few weeks back. It got DJ Moore, right?
Yep.
It was their second round pick. So essentially, they went about trying to recoup that second round pick last night from a value perspective. So they started with 26. They ultimately traded back, as you said, 3 times to 35. So instead of 26, they picked 35. They had already lost their second round pick, but now because of the trades that they swapped last night, they are now up to they got into the beginning of the third round. So I think they looked at that as the end of the second round. They're at 66 now. So they started with 26, no second-round pick, and 91. And then they turned it into no first-round pick, but they got 35, 66, and now they've got 3 fourth-rounders, 2 fifth-rounders. And so they, from a value perspective, that's the thought anyway, that they recouped that pick that they got DJ Moore with.
I feel like they did well, but I will say a lot of my Bills friends were very annoyed because it's another year of waiting.
Yeah.
And then nothing.
I'll tell you, I was in that boat last night. I got back from doing the show to the hotel, and I was exhausted. I just wanted to go to bed, and they were on pick like 22. So I was like, well, it's almost time. It's almost 20. I'm just going to see who the Bills pick, and then they trade back. I was like, I'll wait a little bit longer. I'll wait a little bit longer. And then it was very unsatisfying. But I understand what they're trying to do, and I'm fine with it. And, we had Thad Brown on the other day, and before the draft even started, on Wednesday, he said there's a lot of value in the middle rounds of this draft. And so what did they do? They went out, they got their wide receiver in a trade in DJ Moore, and then they traded back, and now they've got a bunch of selections in the middle rounds. And so I think that it's smart only if you go out and get guys that help you, right? You know, so because I think they executed yesterday the way that they wanted to, but now to truly make it a good play, you got to go out and get guys that that help your team.
They're difference makers,
and they need help on defense.
And then touch on 3 things real quick. Jeremiah Love, I think he's getting about $50 million guaranteed, being the 3rd overall pick. That's the most out of any running back in the league. So when I say, did he just reset the market? I believe it's like 14 more million than Saquon. So I don't think he reset it. But now any running back that hits free agency, they're going to want 45 million guaranteed. And that's coming from the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Like, did he just break the running back market?
I don't think so.
By being picked there? Because teams don't want to pay running backs already.
They still won't.
Yeah, I think it was one of those.
They're in control still. This is just, it's because they took him 3rd.
But that's what I'm like, are they going to go, no, you're not better than Saquon? They're going to go, yeah, well, this guy who's a rookie is getting this amount, so I want more than Saquon. Well, you're not better than Saquon.
And then they just won't pay him.
I think they look at Jeremiah Love as the exception to the rule, and so they, the Cardinals obviously didn't want to pass on him, so they picked him there, and there's a certain, pay scale that's in place. So I'm with Paulie. I think that, there's still going to be that notion that running backs are expendable, but there are a select few that are truly special, and I think they believe Jeremiah Love is. Saquon Barkley is special. I mean, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is special.
Yes.
I think you're going to see a few guys out there that are truly special that will get paid, but by and large, it's going to be like, okay, you've been here, you've put in your service, thank you, we'll go with a cheaper option.
And then touch on Jets did well, 3 first-round picks, and then the Giants, I feel like, did well in the top 10. Jets picked, I wrote it down, David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end, and then Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver. A lot of people are saying they reached for Bailey. I think ultimately he's going to get to the quarterback, and that's kind of all you want out of an edge rusher. At the end of the day, they got a good athletic tight end, and then Fernando Mendoza's number 1 target at receiver, which is good for them. But then the Giants did well. I have a rule: if there's a Samoan on the board, pick the Samoan. That's just kind of something
your rule?
I always think that you should do that. They did that.
Can you imagine if he held a press conference and?
That's
so
my
Paul, Paul, what'd you see in his?
I tend to think there's one on the board every year.
That's just what I think, honestly. I just think because they're always huge and they're always going to move people, and that's what you want as a lineman. So give me that. And then touch on the Steelers pick real quick. So you definitely saw this, where Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver, is on the phone with the Steelers. They're going to pick him with the 21st pick. Is it then, while he's on the phone, the Eagles called, right? Am I remember that right?
Yeah, they traded up.
All of a sudden, he's like, hold on, the Eagles are calling. And then they trade up and pick him 20th. And I see a bunch of Steelers fans saying, this is amateur hour. What's Omar Khan doing?
I'm sure that happens every time.
And I'm sure it happens a lot. We just don't see it on camera.
Right.
I think it happened with the Commanders last night.
They had an offensive lineman they had their eyes on next, and that's how it works. It's the same thing with NIL we talk about. They have a draft board. Okay, we got this guy. Oh, somebody just drafted up and took him. Damn, we got to
your pivot.
That's like the Commanders took all 8 minutes.
It would have been amateur hour if they didn't have any idea. Like, what?
Oh, crap.
No,
Who do
they
we want
needed.
now?
Yeah, they needed an offensive lineman. They got one.
Real quick to that, Sean McVay seemed to be pissed
I was
with
going
the
to say
Ty
that,
Simpson pick.
I'm glad you brought it up because
He does not look happy in that press conference.
No, and not only did he not look happy, but his comments, like what he said, I think it was clear that he was not on board with that pick at all.
And they gave up a lot to get back up there.
Did you see the press conference, Paulie? Like, he's sitting next to the GM, and the GM saying one thing, and he was just like, "Let me be clear, this is Matthew Stafford's team." Like he was like fired up up about it.
We have Stetson Bennett as the backup, and we still like Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. And it's like, wow.
No, he was
okay.
But it was a lot about Stafford last night. And defending his guy, and my guess is the coach wanted a weapon to give Stafford and not pick his potential replacement at some point. But let me be clear. This is Matthew Stafford's team. He's going to quarterback here as long as he wants to, and he stood by his guy. But that was something else last night.
And then real quick, just want to bring up Mike Washington Jr., running back, Arkansas. It's in Orange Nation Sound if you need to go grab it.
I miss Jordan so
I was
much.
in.
I miss him so much.
I was in my hotel room yesterday getting ready for the show, and I had. I'm trying to buy you some time here. I was watching ESPN, and they're going around the table there with Reese Davis. Nick Saban's up there, and Desmond Howard, and they're asking for storylines of the draft. And Desmond Howard just out of the blue drops Mike Washington, and he says, "I think he's going to be the steal of the draft." And they talked about him at length. And in case our listeners are wondering why we're bringing up Mike Washington, played at CNS, Utica native, kind of bounced around a couple colleges like everybody does, was at Buffalo for a while and then finished his career at Arkansas, ran a 4.33, I believe,
he was
in the
lightning
combine.
Quick.
Tested off the charts at the combine, and a lot of people believe he could be a day 2 selection.
And this is him talking about being from Utica.
Yeah, he had a media availability yesterday with the Utica media, and that's how we got our hands on it. And I believe he's got a draft party tonight at Turning Stone. So he's back in town, and he's most likely going to be drafted by the end of tonight. I mean, all the projections say he's going to go tonight. So good for him.
Why do people take things out of 2 remote in the board that don't need to be out of 2 remote?
I don't know. Well, what was that, a 2 remote?
The production computer.
So they could hear it over the radio, just not on Q Sports stuff. Gotcha. All right.
It's National Bucket List Day. My bucket list would be for somebody to do their job right. National Bucket List Day. What would be on your bucket list? I have 2 things that I would like to do.
2 things. Okay. From a travel perspective, we talked about this before. The 2 places I want to visit are Italy and Montana before I die. That's a must, both of them. And I want to see the Bills win a Super Bowl.
But you don't have control over the Bills winning a Super Bowl. You can't put something on your bucket list that you can't control.
A bunch of Cubs fans had stuff on their bucket list about them winning.
Going to a Cubs game is on a bucket list. You can't say the Cubs winning the World Series is on my bucket list.
We're sitting next to Stephen Fonte. He could probably buy the Bills.
Stop.
You control that.
You can't say, I want.
Okay, fine. I strike it from the list.
Something
then.
I would
fine.
like. Yeah. No,
strike
a bucket list is something you can do.
Okay. If the Bills make the Super Bowl, I would like to be there and watch them
there
win it in person.
Okay, yeah.
He can watch them.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, you still have no control over that. Okay. I'm just going to play along with your stupid take.
Because Commanders
people want to
is
know
mine.
where Montana is also. That's a good question.
How do you say it?
Montana.
Montana? Okay,
Montana?
That's your Central New York accent. I don't know. I mean, whatever.
No, it's a good question.
You knew what I meant.
My uncle who lived in Montana said Montana.
Mun?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He had a horse farm out there.
What was your bucket list?
Well, it's watch the Commanders win a Super Bowl. My bucket list, I don't know.
Something you can do.
Something I can do. Probably
Not that requires someone else to do something.
go to like Tokyo. I love the car scene over there and all that kind of stuff. So probably go and see all.
Check out the car scene in Tokyo.
JDM cars.
Did not have that on my guess of things you would say. The car world.
I love cars.
I would like to. I've already been to Petco. I've did that, knocked that off my bucket list. I would like to drive across the country and actually have time to do it.
That's cool. I like that.
Spend some time, take my time, knock that out. Hopefully I don't die before I get to do it. And another thing is to get over my fear of flying and fly somewhere again.
I like that. Can I add one to my list?
Yeah.
I want to open my food truck. I do. There's a passion project that I would like to do at some point.
Is one on your list have Paulie invite you to something?
No, I don't care about that.
No?
The other thing, how many do I get? Because I want to write a.
Jeez, how big's your bucket?
I want to write a book as well.
About what?
I don't know. I just want to write a book
About the Bills winning the Super Bowl.
I want to leave something behind.
Isn't that why you have kids?
Go on. I would like to. You don't know what your you don't even have an idea of what your book is.
So, I have tried starting. I tried to write a movie once. When I was first out of college, I tried writing a movie, and I started 3 different things, and I never followed through with it, and never developed it. But I have some ideas. It would be fiction. I would write fiction.
Oh, a novel.
Yeah, it would be. I would write fiction. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to write memoirs or anything like that, but I would like to write a book, a story, and have it be fiction.
What were the movies about?
We don't have time to get it. It was sports related though. It was sports related.
Mike, a little Mike Lupica.
I could probably write a book, maybe call it Stories from the Road, and just tell all of my travel stories.
That'd be cool.
Because I've come in contact with a lot of famous people.
You've been some places. Yeah. Yes, you have.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, but I'm not writing a book.
Bucket list? Is that on the bucket list?
No. Why would I want to write a book? Work is not a bucket list. A bucket list. You know what I want to do before I die? More work. Thank you.
So, when I was a kid, I had 2 passions. I loved sports and I loved to write. And I used to write short stories. I wrote poems. I wrote for fun. So I find it fun to write. So I think that would be on my bucket list. I just don't have time to do it.
You find it fun to write?
I do.
Probably the least shocking thing I ever.
Okay. It's therapeutic.
Fun? Is that really the word you're using? You know what's fun is just writing stuff down, man. Woo! Settle down. Hey, kids, you want to write stuff today? Let's have a fun weekend. We're going to write stuff.
Dad's writing a novel. Join in.
You know what? Let's go out and pick some rocks and then write something. And then we'll have a piece of chicken with no salt on it.
Is that your dream day?
What? Yeah, is that like a dream day? Let's go out and grab some
Is that your bucket list day?
I open up to you, and this is what I get in return. So I'm just not going to open up anymore. We're going to take a time out. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
You know what I'm going to do this weekend? Write stuff.
Go to break.
Write a book about rocks.
Go to break. Every time I open up, this is what I get. So I'm not doing it
You're not
anymore.
really opening up.
No, I am. I was opening up to you. Forget it.
It's getting heartfelt there, and then.
Steve's Food Truck, Hold the Mail. That's actually a great name. But it doesn't fit your process. What you want to do. Hold the Mail is a good name, though.
It is a good name. But no, we've already got the name.
You got a 3-page cookbook. Boil chicken. Boil broccoli in different water.
Eat like Steve.
Rice. Boil rice. There you go.
I still can't get over your nachos order. I'm still stuck on that to this day.
What, plain?
Yeah. Can I just take the ice with the chips, please? Thanks.
Buttered noodles.
The draft show went well?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Box of Duncan Hines cake, no frosting.
Needed to see it, and they all said it went well, so that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
I deserve a smack for this. Come on, that was funny.
I found out this is the guy earlier who was going, if you see any Datsuns at the Syracuse Nationals, let me know. And then I say the JDM car scene.
Yeah.
No,
no, I just didn't expect you to be like I'd never heard that side of you. Steve just somehow outbores himself every time he opens his mouth.
No, I just like all the upgrades and customs that they do over there.
Are you mad at me? Do you want to break up with me now?
The way he said that sounded like he actually somewhat regretted it. If you
No,
said yes.
I thought that just is par for the course with Steve. My bucket list is to write a book. Just do a job.
You're saying, I'd love to write a book, but I would never have enough time to actually do it. So I'm kind of with you on that.
What?
I'm with Steve on writing a book.
Okay, I could see wanting to write a book, but just not like, I got to do that before I die. Like, that's got to be my one, no.
I would like to do that. You said bucket list. That's what a bucket list is.
Bucket list tends to be fun. The meat wagon, that's what I call my loft.
Pumping Club is affordable for everyone. At the Pumping Club, all new members receive a 10% discount off of their dues. There are no initiation fees.
Big Papi, you like to bring up Kim's name on it. I mean, finish your sentence there. What are you going to say? And what? Why don't you finish what you're going to say?
Magnificent views, competitive pricing, friendly members, and the best golfing value in Central New York. It's all at the Pumping Club. Call today.
Is flying on a plane fun? It could be. For someone who's scared of it, yeah. Thank you.
Check us out at pumpingclub.com. That's pumpingclub.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram.
Damn, people.
Hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, head dander, and pollen to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime.
Being a pilot, no, I could not. I wish I looked like that. That's really funny. That is funny, Ryan.
Can we stop bringing up her name? I'd appreciate it.
The feed bag. Oh no. Are the songs in the... where are the songs? Paul. Where are the songs? Paul. Where are the songs?
A little less Pittsburgh.
I'm with you on that.
Paul, where are the songs? Oops. This was not on the top 7. I'm having a bad day. Someone said I should try and be a pilot. No thanks. I can't even run a board. I need the songs, Paul, if you're out there. Here is what the number 5 song was on this day in 1999. Kiss Me by Sixpence, None the Richer. Oops. The producers has exited the call manager. What's going on out there? It's somebody from Lee Baldwin.
I was going to say, I would assume we're checking in on the market here, but we apologize. I'm not sure who it is today. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Mike.
Unfortunately for you guys, it's Mike.
Mike, what's going on?
The good news is we are up for the week. The markets are mixed today. We have an up S&P, an up NASDAQ, but the Dow's down about 140 points. Leading the way, pretty clear-cut winner, though, is Intel. Intel's up $13 to all-time highs, $80.50. It actually traded up to about $85.86. That's up over 20% today. They announced earnings last night, better than expected. This is at one time the leader in the semiconductor industry for about 20 years. In the last 5 years, I really underperformed, but this in the last 6 months or so, it's quadrupled. So Intel is back in favor. And our dog, we're going to go with fat drug producer Eli Lilly, LLY, is down. And the data from the new weight loss pill is a little bit worse than expected on sales, but still been a great stock over the last 5 years or so. So we'll see how they can rebound as the day goes on. And overall, a pretty good day, good week, and let's hope we can keep the momentum going, guys.
All right. We appreciate the information. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
All right. All the diamonds, none of the dogs. Be sure to visit LeeBaldwin.com.
Your mall stock of the day today, Sears and Roebuck. Sears Holding is currently typically a stock between 30 cents and 10 cents. Not good. That'd have been cool. All right. So our music bracket is going on, right?
Yes. So are we through the Sweet 16 where this is the Elite Eight?
Yes, we are moving on to that, but let me give you the winners.
Okay.
The number 9 seed is advancing and has beaten the Muppet Show. I think this might be our winner.
Do you still hear Run DMC in our headphones? I'm just letting you know because I know you're about to play something. I still hear Run DMC.
The Flintstones took down the Muppet Show.
Okay.
Sesame Street took down the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, a shocking one. Yeah. 60-40. The Twilight Zone, the number 1 seed over the 5 seed Hawaii 5-0. And number 6, Laverne and Shirley took down the Monkeys in 51-49. Today's first battle will be the number 1 seed.
Well, we're moving on now. To the east side.
Taking on the number 2 seed, Sanford and Son. 270 sitcoms. So this should be a good battle. 1 versus 2, all chalk in the Jeffersons region. And then we also have another number 1 Brady Bunch.
3 of your 4 number 1s made it to the Elite Eight. Well done by the committee.
Versus the number 5 seed.
6 seed.
6 seed Happy Days. So there you go. Big matchups today. 1 versus 6, 1 versus 2.
We should mention Jeffersons and Brady Bunch both out to strong leads early.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, we're getting there. We should have this wrapped up by next week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, easily. Unless you have some other draft show to do.
You won't let it go, will you?
No, I will. You like to talk about it. I'm surprised you're not promoting next year's already. 364 days, guys, till Steve does the draft show again.
They did tell us we're doing it again next year, so if you'd like to promote it, we can.
Did we do KB Toys from the YouTube chat? I don't know if they still exist. Does KB Toys still exist?
I don't think it does, no.
Originally, it's now just KB, the letters, was a prominent American mall-based toy retailer founded in 1922. Chain closed in 2009 after bankruptcy.
Yeah.
KB Toys, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, I thought so.
But, yeah, that was kind of it was a good filler if you were of an age where your mom and dad took you to the mall. It'd kill time, but it wasn't a great toy store. You know, it wasn't Toys R Us.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was an option, though.
Yeah.
You liked walking by if you were a kid.
Yeah. You'd go in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we got to try to stay on time here, Paulie. We did so well in the first hour, but we've got Isaac Schade set to join us here in about 10 minutes. Eric Devendorf, 1:30. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
What is Duncan's Toyland? Who are your favorite authors besides you?
You know, he's not my favorite author per se, but I do like Mitch Albom's work. And I got to meet him last year and introduce him at a function downtown, and he was a great guy and really enjoyed that. I like his work. I like his work a lot. I wouldn't say he's my favorite author per se, but he was able to do it. There's a lot of sport. I mean, I know he was a sports writer, but
sports reporter.
Yeah, right.
I produced a radio show for one of those guys, and he looks like super mean, and he was like the nicest guy. I can't remember what his name is at the PGA tournament.
He was one of the sports reporters?
Yeah.
Not John Feinstein, right?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Oh, he was it? Yeah, yeah.
He was super nice.
Yeah.
He looks like
he's a really good writer, too.
It's so weird how PT works. Like, my back doesn't hurt anymore, and I was just working out my hips. Like, they had me stepping up steps and stuff and stretches, and now my back doesn't hurt. It's freaking wild.
It's working?
Yeah, it's great. My back, like, I wake up now, and my back doesn't hurt. Every day I worked. I didn't do hip thrusts. I had to, like, do stairs. I remember we were like one of the first families on our block to have a VCR. And I saw the old ads for those, and those things were freaking expensive back then. And my dad had like Empire Straits Back that had to be a bootleg. It wasn't a humble brag. I grew up like Steve. We didn't have a pool, though, because our backyard was too small. I am struggling. We roll into hour number 2, Steve. The number 4 song in 1999 on April 24th was What's It Gonna Be? Busta Rhymes, as the kids call him, and Janet Jackson. From the leaders of the new school, Steve, Busta Rhymes. I'm that cool. I know him from his original band.
OG, yes. Me as well. We're driving into our second hour. It's brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero. We've got Isaac Schade from Locked On Basketball and Locked On Tar Heels set to join us
They got some big
here in a
bad
few minutes.
news. So they're coming
Yeah.
in the past couple minutes. Losing a player to the draft, it looks like, Steve.
Eric Devendorf joining us at 1:30 as well. So we're going to have to keep this segment pretty quick so we can stay on time for our two guests.
Steve, I just want to publicly apologize to you.
For what?
Your book would be, your bucket list was very exciting. Okay, I'm sorry I mocked you writing a book. Okay?
It's okay. To each their own.
No, it's fine. I apologize. Your life
it's just funny because
you are very exciting, and you should open up more. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you opening up to us.
That's
right?
why as I started to say that, I was like, he's just gonna make fun of you, but I did it anyway for the show, for the content. So there.
Because the chat was right. You should write a cookbook. Bread, open the package. Chicken, boil chicken till done. Well, probably in your case, it's probably going to be extra done because you're nervous about eating things, right? You like your chicken a little dry. You can say it. Come on.
No, I want to make sure it's not pink. Yes, but no, I don't want it dry. I want it to be cooked properly.
Okay. And then maybe just a little boiled rice in the same water so you get the chicken flavor. San Diego Q says, I met Buster Rhymes after a show at Cornell in 1997. Cool dude. He signed my ticket stub. You ever meet a musician?
Oh, man.
I met Nick Lachey.
I met Jordan Davis. He's a country music act.
I met Dave Matthews. He was in line during I
remember that. You've told us that story.
Nick Lachey, I was standing waiting to interview Coach Boeheim at Madison Square Garden. He was standing back there, and he actually just started talking to me. He's like, what are you doing down here? I go, I got to interview Coach because I'm just waiting for my ride to get here.
I told you my dad met Kenny Rogers and had him call my mom, and she didn't believe him that it was Kenny Rogers.
Coach Boeheim actually FaceTimed a friend of mine's kid once at his show. Dominic met Glenn Danzig. Moontan met Steve Winwood. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I met Joan Jett and I met Shinedown because I interviewed both of them. Shinedown, one of the funniest stories I can't tell on the radio. Yeah, that's about it for musicians. Chris Jericho, does he count because he's a wrestler?
He's famous. He's not a musician though.
Someone told him I had a man crush on him, and he kissed me on the cheek.
And you haven't washed it since.
Yeah.
We got to take a time out. Isaac Schade, Locked On Basketball, Locked On Tar Heels, joins us on the other side. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
And Gabriel, I wasn't saying that to brag. I was saying I was shocked my parents spent that much money on a VCR for us back then. I remember one of the first movies we ever had was Excalibur, too. I haven't seen that movie in ages. I wonder if that holds up. Has anybody seen Excalibur in a while? From the 80s? Yeah, the reason I met Jericho was because of Fozzy. Ooh, Ryan met Beyonce. Didn't we just have this guy on? He's being nice.
Kill the mics for 1 second.
Vassar.
I say Vasar, but
Hey, that dude with the V name on North Carolina.
I was told it was pronounced Vasar, but
okay, well then you're right because I don't ask. I don't.
I've heard it pronounced multiple ways, but
the Ayatollah of rock and roll, Chris Jericho. Yeah, I'm not a big wrestling fan, but I loved him like on mic and stuff. So I liked him. He called me Uncle Paulie too for some reason.
Who did?
Chris Jericho, and he signed an action figure for me that says to Uncle Paulie. He had a hell of a game in the Dome against Syracuse, however you pronounce his name. He ate, as the kids would say, Steve.
As the kids would say, bingo card.
Your sister used to party with Leonard Skinner? What year was that? Like I think they were all dead in 1974. Yeah, I guess the story behind Betamax movies was that the adult industry preferred VHS, so it put Beta out of business. I didn't pawn Goonies. I have Goonies, and if anybody would like to come watch it, they can. Remember laser discs? Those things are huge. They're like LPs. I'm not embarrassed to say I like this band. I'm not embarrassed to say I like this band that's coming. The number 3 song in 1999. Every morning, Steve. April 24th. If you woke up in 1999, this was probably on the radio.
Number 3, you said?
Yeah, I was already working in radio at this time.
99. Yeah, this was my first year. It was first year in TV for me. Graduated in 98, and 99 was my first year here in Syracuse.
I had been in the business for like 5 years. What am I doing? The hell was I doing? If you could go back, would you do this again?
100%.
Knowing that
100%. I don't know about this show with you, but I would get into TV again. I enjoy it.
I love radio, but like, man, I think I'm too smart to do this again.
Yeah, I'd probably pick something we can make more money in.
I'd probably be way better at school. Like if I could go back and go, all right, you're going back to 1980. Just start over. Yeah, I would be way smarter.
I would make sure that I've traveled to Italy by now and written a book by now.
Yeah, and I would also invest in things that nobody would be expecting me to invest in.
There you go.
If I had that knowledge.
All right, let's bring on our first guest today. As promised, pleased to be joined now by Isaac Schade, Locked On Basketball and Locked On Tar Heels. And we will begin with the latter. Let's start with the UNC news from today. Henry Vasar announcing that he's not coming back. Are you surprised that he's decided to go this route and stay in the NBA draft?
First off, fellas, I got to say my closest brush with musician greatness is I'm from Stockbridge, Georgia, the hometown of Collective Soul. And so that's where I'm at. That Sugar Ray, man, I'm with that too. Fly is my favorite song of theirs. Henry Vasar, I was dead wrong on this because the news all week long had been that North Carolina and Henry Vasar and or his agents were simply just talking numbers, that he was intending to turn to the Tar Heels. And then that news spoiled like bad milk. And on Friday morning, the day of the NBA early entry deadline, Henry Vasar announces that he is off to the NBA and intends to stay in. This was broken earlier on Friday by CBS Sports' Matt Norlander. So yeah, I am surprised by this news in a big way. He stood to make an absolute bag at North Carolina, potentially much more so than he could or will make in the NBA. You wonder if some of the decision was influenced by players like Braylon Mullins from UConn, deciding to stay in school. Tommy Houck at Florida deciding to come back maybe means that Vasar can slide into the back end of the first round. But in this loaded draft, you guys, I thought the smarter move for Vasar would be to come back, get a guaranteed bag of money in college sports next year, and then go to the draft in the 27 draft with a better chance at going higher in the first round.
Do you think at all that just this is a kid's dream? Like, we went through this with Judah Mintz. We felt like he could have made money in college if he stayed one more year, but he just wanted to play pro ball. And, do you think that played into it at all?
I think it has to, right? Like, for people like us who just love college basketball, I'm like, for me, that is the dream. Why wouldn't you dream of that? But I get it, that whether it's somebody like this that grew up in Estonia or somebody that grew up in America, ultimately a college basketball player or any basketball player wants to play at the highest level of the sport, and that's the NBA. And so I don't begrudge him. I don't fault him. I'm like, buddy, go be great. And ultimately for North Carolina, it's a success story. You would love to have him back, but he comes over from Arizona, where he had been fine but never had a double-double in his career, came to Carolina. I think he benefited greatly from being partners with Caleb Wilson in the front court, and now heads off to the NBA draft. And so Carolina can point to that as a victory. And, congrats to Henry Vasar, buddy. Go be great.
All right, Isaac, so what does this mean for their roster? I mean, obviously this hurts, but, so much is in flux right now when it comes to the transfer portal and free agency, and we'll get to the potential of the 5-for-5 rule here in a second. But where does this leave the roster for North Carolina right now with Vasar deciding to go pro?
It leaves a massive hole in the front court. Obviously, Carolina, and you guys saw this last year, was built so much around that front court of Henry Vasar and Caleb Wilson together. Both those guys now off to the NBA. The projection is that it was going to be Jaren Stevenson who returns, has already committed to be back at North Carolina, probably as the starting 4. Vasar would have been the starting 5. Carolina's essentially, I'm knocking my mic around here, essentially reloaded in the backcourt through the transfer portal, but now has a massive hole at the center position, and a lot of the big names at the 5 are already off the board because we're multiple weeks into the transfer portal now. And so that's going to be the trick, is can you either find one of the final few names out there on the board, whether it's Diop from Arizona State or any of these guys. There's a couple guys out there, Mustafa Thiem from Cincinnati. Can you go find somebody in the international waters? Hopefully not in the water, but on land somewhere. Is there somebody else in the NBA draft that decides to come back? But then you're waiting till potentially as late as, what would it be, May 27th is the early entry withdrawal deadline. So there's a big hole there, and Carolina's going to have to find a way to fill it in the first year under Michael Malone.
What's the latest with Dylan Mingo? I think the last time you were on, we talked about how he, was he going to decommit, and where did that stand? He ended up decommitting. We know his brother has committed since then. What's the latest with Dylan? Is UNC still an option for him, or are they off the table at this point?
That's a great question. The actual verbiage at that time was that they were parting ways. One of those where, we get really good at reading between the lines here, guys. Basically said that this is best for both parties. Carolina is wanting to move on, and as are the Mingo family. His brother, Caden, who was at Penn State, committed to Baylor, which was another one of Dylan's finalists. One of the pieces of potentially unfortunate news for Dylan Mingo is that Matt Norlander, the same guy from CBS Sports who broke the Henry Vasar news today, has reported that Dylan might actually have to redshirt this year because of some injuries that he's been dealing with for a while, which is part of the reason Carolina was having thoughts already about kind of moving away from Dylan Mingo. So no, I think that ship has sailed, and that Carolina will not circle back around to Dylan Mingo. Beyond that, they've kind of already now filled out the backcourt, and so I wouldn't expect any reunification there.
All right. So with all that being said, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on today was to talk about this 5-for-5 rule that seems like, the NCAA and Charlie Baker, they're trying to fast track this thing to potentially have it go into effect over the summer so that guys who, just wrapped up or thought they wrapped up their playing careers might have an extra year of eligibility next season. I guess first and foremost, do you like the rule as it stands, the 5-for-5 and the potentially only being able to transfer once before graduation without having to sit out? Do you like the rule fundamentally?
Fundamentally, yes. Also, it makes me very hungry because anytime we're talking about 5-for-5, I go back to that Arby's deal that we got back in the earlier.
Paulie said the same thing. Yes, Paulie said the same thing.
And it's dangerous, guys. There's an Arby's down the street from me, and it's a total guilty pleasure. I'm not even going to deny it. I'm here for that Jamocha shake. No, at its core, I like the concept of this. The whole goal, as Charlie Baker has talked about it, is to simplify it all. We swim in the waters all the time of waivers and red shirts and all of this. And so to just find a way to say, you know what, forget all that. You got 5 years, play as much as you can. Do whatever you need to in that time. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. You can come to this buffet, pay this price, eat everything your stomach can handle, and then when we got to shut down, you got to go. I know that probably means they're going to face some lawsuits up front, but I think the wisdom in it is, hey, we'd rather deal with all that now to create this simplicity for us long-term. And I'll say, as someone self-admittedly, hand up, I rag on the NCAA pretty regularly for their lack of leadership, for their lack of foresight, for their lack of getting out ahead of things and being very reactionary instead of being proactive. This feels to me like a move that moves us into a new era of collegiate athletics, which we're already in, and just finding a way. I think COVID clearly was part of a forerunner for making this happen more quickly. Obviously, the president's executive order isn't going to hold a lot of water recently, but it does get the conversation going. And so ultimately, yes, I think this is a good move. There's going to be things to figure out, who gets exceptions, who's grandfathered in, all of that. But man, I love the intended simplicity of it, and I think it could work.
Syracuse lacrosse hoping it happens very soon.
Yeah. I mean, no, for sure, though, like you talk about that. I mean, they have this dynamite senior class right now that, is gunning for a national title. And, I know they would love to take a second crack at it next year with the senior class back. So, yeah, we will all find out together how this thing plays itself out. If guys who just graduated or are out of eligibility are allowed to play next year, how does that impact North Carolina? Are there guys that, as you said, their two best players from last year are already moving on to the NBA? Would it impact them, with anybody that was on the roster this past year or anybody else in the ACC that you might have your eye on?
Yeah, the third best player for North Carolina last year was Seth Trimble, who was a 4 for 4. Anybody have one of those deals? I don't know. But that's Seth Trimble. The problem, as we've discussed, is Carolina has already kind of set themselves up in the backcourt right now. And I don't know if there would be space for Seth. And you think about the timeline of this, the reporting on Wednesday of this week, I'm getting my days all running together now. Sometime earlier this week, the reporting is that the D1 Council is going to have more conversations about this, that maybe it would be voted in by mid-May at some point and then might take effect in mid-June. That is after the NBA early entry withdrawal deadline. The NBA draft combine runs May 10 to 17. The NCAA date is 10 days after the combine, so that would be May 27th. And we're talking about at the earliest, this would be mid-June. And so this is even later than when you're waiting for guys to pull out of the NBA draft. And so I think for basketball related things, it would be difficult. But in terms of like Syracuse lacrosse, let's go, man. Let's get set up for the 27 spring and be ready to go. And so from a timeline standpoint, fast tracking, it's still a slow moving ship that's going to take a couple months to figure out. So for North Carolina, Seth Trimble is really the only person that would factor into that. Yeah, you're going to have guys around this is outside the ACC, but I think of a team like Purdue. where you had Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Kaufman-Wren. All three were 4-year seniors. There were, according to Isaac Trotter from CBS Sports, who did some great research on this, there were only 22 seniors at the high major level that stayed at their same school for all 4 years that are graduating right now. 3 of them were those dudes at Purdue. I don't know if Matt Painter would want them back. I don't know if those guys would want to come back, but that's the first school that jumped into my mind as, holy cow, if Purdue could get that back and run it back, they'd be in great shape.
Yeah, I think Michigan State's another, if I'm not mistaken. I think both of them had some 4-year guys that had stayed and would potentially have an extra year of eligibility. Isaac, we love having you on. You get this show. You are very much an Orange Nation guest.
Let's go.
Thank you, sir, for coming on.
Thank you for Collective Soul on the way out. Let's go.
We'll take a break. We've got Eric Devendorf set to join us on the other side. Back after this on ESPN Radio. How did I know that would be the...
Like, am I wrong about that? Like, something you can't control can't be your bucket list. The Bills to win a Super Bowl. Like, a bill... that.
I'm Googling if that's allowed on the bucket list. Can wanting to see your favorite team win a championship?
It could be a Bills player...
Yes, wanting to see your favorite team win a championship is a very popular and legitimate item for a bucket list.
No, it's not. San Diego Cruz agrees with me. It could be a Padres player's bucket list to win the World Series, but I can't say it's my bucket list for the Padres to win the World Series. My Twitch station's already set up.
How can I help?
It's been set up forever.
Well,
do you want to come over, Gamer?
Google AI says that I'm allowed to have that on my bucket list. So,
but it's like not tangible. Like you can't do it.
Okay. And what if you said I want to fall in love with like the most beautiful woman in the world?
You can't
control.
Yeah, so I
in love.
can't put it on my bucket list. I can't put I want $1 million on my bucket list either because I can't do it. Like a bucket list got to be something you can do.
You can make $1 million. You can make $1 million.
No, I can't. It's not real, Steve.
What if you wanted to travel to the moon? Physically, like you could, like it's theoretically possible.
I can't get to the moon, Steve. It's not on my bucket list.
You gotta shoot for the stars, my friend.
That's a dream, not a bucket list. Bucket list has to be actionable. I agree. Climb Mount Everest. I could do that. I don't want to do that. I'm more fast. I've watched too many videos of people dying doing that. Ooh, the bingo card has been sent from Syracuse.
So if you said I want to make $1 million in your life, that can't be on your bucket list?
No, because you can't tangibly do that.
Why not? If you work hard enough, you can.
Yeah, I'm not working anymore. As the kids say, okay. You haven't lived, let it cook, riddled with injuries. Do you know what this song's about, Steve? Girthy. I can't do this anymore, Steve. Learn to tie your shoe, Paul. Top 5. Stinky Bird.
Who made that?
Syracuse. On the Verge. Turn the mic on, Paulie. Winning the offseason. Steve collects rocks. No hitter gone. This is good. The chat is insufferable. It's not rocket ship science. Chicken Infante. How'd you sleep, Steve? Kicker. We'll all find out together. Commercials. Was this on your mixtape? We need to stay on time and slow skate. Those are good.
Who put that together?
Syracuse.
Oh,
Good
well
work.
done. Well done.
Yeah, goals and bucket list.
Horticulture, that's a good one.
Oh, horticulture would have been. Horticulture, first 4 out.
Just make a bigger board. Expand the board.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it'd be a good one, too.
No hitter blown.
I don't know why I just had a random Eric Devendorf memory that just popped in my head that I had completely forgotten about.
What was it? Share with the class.
I feel like we were in Michigan when Eric was on the coaching staff. We ended up I ended up driving him to some random gas station in the middle of nowhere. It was weird. And there was palm tree in the parking lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming it.
I don't know.
But I think it was like during Johnny Flynn's era. He was on the coaching staff, and we had to go get something at a gas station.
Eric Devendorf joins us now. Devo, is this ringing a bell for you?
That was a dream.
No, it was. I think it was me, you, and T-Rob for some reason.
I don't. If our coaching staff better have been Michigan State.
Well, yeah. Did we play Michigan State back then in the tournament?
We did. We beat them at, I want to say, Little Caesars.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But for some reason, we needed to make a run to a gas station, and it was in the
There was a palm tree. Like,
what?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I don't know. Maybe it was a dream, but we went, and it was in a not nice area.
That was a dream. You dreamt that.
Okay, I definitely didn't. All right,
fake news. You're making things up, Paulie.
I'll remember later.
All right, Eric, we wanted to have you on to talk about where things stand right now with this roster. And you've seen, what Jerry's trying to accomplish here. And he talked a few weeks back about the profile of player he's looking for and positional size. And I think we're seeing, that he's getting guys with experience. What do you make of the roster, I guess, as a whole right now? And then we'll kind of get into individual players.
Well, I was just comparing it to kind of how Clemson's been the past 2 years. They didn't really have a standout guy. I mean, R.J. Godfrey was their leading scorer at like 12, 13 points a game. They did it as a collective unit. They did it defensively. And Brad Brownell, he got his guys to compete and play as a unit. So I think that's kind of what GMAC was searching for, guys who are we first instead of me first, especially in this NIL era. It's crazy. But I think he has the guys that are really going to buy in, their team first. They're going to compete super hard. I think a lot of these guys are trying to prove a point, whether it's, guys who were at high level, went back down, and now they're able to get back up at high level again. They want to prove their point and that they can play at this level. Obviously, he has some transfers from Siena coming in. I think guys that know the system, know how GMAC wants to play, they're going to compete super hard. And then a few unknowns. I think the overseas guys, I really don't know much about. You hear good things about the 6'7" shooter and then the big fella who can really move. And it seems like the roster is made up of length, athleticism, height. He talked about positional size, wanting to have that, like you said. It seems like he has that. I'd like to see maybe, just make a splash maybe with one or two guys, but maybe that's not the route he wants to take. Maybe he has confidence in these guys who, he believes they could score the ball, and obviously he wants to set the foundation defensively, which I think he's done a pretty good job of. And then, if that's the case, you'd want to try to score at least 70 points a game and, give yourself a chance. I think teams are too good now to, try to play in the 50s and 60s. It's hard to stop guys like that. But you know what? He obviously has a plan, and he's sticking to it. And I think he's really relying on obviously himself and his coaching staff to get these guys to play at a high level, and believe in themselves, even though some people on the outside maybe be questioning the roster or whatever it may be. But again, I don't want to be too quick to judge because no games have been played yet. I'm not too familiar with a lot of these guys. I'm not just going to go off stats and things like that. But we'll see, when the season starts, kind of his plan, his system, and how it's going to go. But, I'm with G-Mac. I'm going to believe in him. I'm going to believe in his staff. And hopefully they add one or two more guys, maybe a forward and hopefully a point guard, and we'll see what happens.
Are you worried about shooting on this team at all? It doesn't seem like they have a 3-point shooter that you can just point at and say that guy's going to be able to knock down a 3.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that before the call. There's not really a lot of guys that you would say are pure shooters. I mean, percentage-wise, there's guys who maybe are volume shooters. I think the kid from Temple shot a high percentage. I think 47% from 3 last season. Maybe I'm mistaken. Tell me if I'm wrong. But
it wasn't quite that good, but yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, it may be 40s. I don't know. I don't know, but I think he's a guy that could score the ball and inside out. He could really stretch the floor a little bit. And then you got guys who can knock down threes, but I guess you wouldn't consider them, knockdown shooters. So, yeah, maybe that's an area that they want to address with the, last one or two guys. But, again, I don't want to be too quick to judge and say, bad things, and then they come out here and do great. I think the biggest thing is G-Mac's trying to really build a team that he can have some sustainability with, so where guys aren't just going to get up and leave and go after this year. I think the guys that he has, he could maybe get them to stay, 1, 2, or maybe even 3 years. You know what I mean? Depending on, how things go. But I think he's definitely going into the direction of we first, not me first. And like I said, I kind of compare it to how Clemson plays. They're defensively gritty. They're getting after it, and then they do enough offensively to be able to win games. So thinking positive.
Yeah, you were talking about the kid from Temple. He shot better than 41% from 3 his freshman year. Last year, not quite as well. I think the 49% is the 19-year-old from Slovenia was 49% last summer from 3. And so, I think they're bringing him in hoping that, that he's a shooter and a scorer and can knock down the 3. In terms of individual players, I'm going to ask you about the 2 guys coming back. Let's start with Cayenne. And when you look at his roster, do you see Cayenne as a starter? Do you see him as first guy off the bench? What do you think his ceiling can be here at Syracuse? And what does he need to improve upon, to get more minutes, in your opinion?
Well, I think obviously defensively he has to be able to lock in. He has to be able to keep guys in front. And I think he has the height and the length to be disruptive on that end. Now it's about, is he going to consistently, bring the effort and energy on that side of the ball? I think if he can gain, at least 10 pounds going into the next season, 15 would be better. That'll help him defensively, just, staying in front of guys, being able to take the contact. And then on the other end, bringing that size, I think just being able to play through the contact, finishing at the hoop better, getting and ones, and he has to be a more consistent shooter. He shot, I don't know what it was it low 20s from the 3 last year? He has to be able to bring that up into the you would think mid-30s, to really be a consistent shooter. But him and Sadiq, they have to be better, man. Those guys, they have a year under their belt. They know what to expect as far as the college game and playing in the ACC. So those guys, they got to look at themselves as leaders. Regardless of the experience that they're bringing in, these other guys haven't been at Syracuse. They have, so they can kind of set the tone as far as that goes. And I think Sadiq, he'll definitely improve. He's a maniac defensively. He can guard 1 through 5. He's active. He has a lot of energy. And then I think offensively, he'll be better than he was last year, just as far as the details and working on a shot, knowing what spots to get to the floor that's more effective for him. And G-Mac and staff, they'll be working with those guys on that. But those 2 guys, I think they got to take a leadership role. They got to communicate, and then obviously just overall they have to be better than they were last year.
You mentioned G-Mac looks like he's building defense first. When you look at this team, it looks like they're all the same guy at the same height and everything. And
right.
That'll make it so that, like, when a switch comes, right, that the one guy that you switch on is going to get the exact same defender in any position except for the center spot, right?
Yeah, well, that's what basketball is now, kind of. I mean, you watch the NBA, everybody is the same person. You got about Wembanyama, he's 7'6". He's switching on the point guard, and he's doing point guard stuff. So that's just kind of how the game is now. Everybody is interchangeable, and that's the route that GMAC looks like he wants to take.
We talked about the two guys coming back, and I understand you haven't seen like Garway Dwall, play all that much, or Aiden Tobias. But what about Gavin Doty? And I'm sure at the very least you saw the Duke game. Is there any question in your mind that he's a Power 4 player? And I guess what are you most excited about him being in a Syracuse uniform? What is his ceiling at a place like Syracuse?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he can play at this level, and I've seen him since he's been in Fulton. I followed his career. I know he's just a kid who just plays super hard. Regardless of what's happening, make, miss, turnover, mistake, he's going to keep that same level of intensity and energy, and I think that's really where he separates himself. He's not scared. He's fearless. And now at this level, obviously, driving to the basket, there's going to be bigger guys, more athletic guys, so those finishes are going to be a little bit tougher. It'll be interesting to see, how he adjusts to that. I think a big thing for him is he has to shoot the ball more efficiently. I know he was still in the low, I don't know what the percentage was, maybe low 30s, three-point shooter, maybe high 20s, not sure, but he has to be able to shoot the ball better. If he could be consistent from the three-point line, and I know he's the type of kid who's going to put in the work all summer, right? So he's going to give himself a chance. I think if he can do that, he'll be even, of a better player in the ACC. But I think a lot of these guys, I think they want to prove to people that, hey, whether you're coming from a Nice State or Temple, Appalachian State, wherever it is, Siena, that they could play up a level in the ACC consistently. We talked about the Duke game, we've seen them, but can you do that night in and night out? Because these other teams are loading up. You look at North Carolina and Miami, Duke, I mean, even Florida State, Louisville, these guys they're getting big-time guys, the transfers from, Kansas and Michigan or whatever it may be. So I like Gavin Doty a lot. It's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts and consistently can he, be productive night in and night out. But one thing you're never going to question about from him is, how hard he competes. He's going to give everything he has, every single game.
Eric, two-parter here for you, What the former players it's a family, for former Syracuse guys. And what's been your takeaway, on the past 3 years? I don't want you to say anything bad about anybody about the past 3 years, and then what is the hiring of Jerry been like for you guys?
I'll start with the hire. I think obviously everyone was super excited about the hire. It's a nostalgia for a lot of people, knowing GMAC. In the career that he had playing at Syracuse, won a national championship, multiple Big East championships. So a lot of people are holding on to those memories, and I think that really excited him, and reasonably so. You should be excited about one of the best players in history coming back and coaching his alma mater, and obviously the 2 years what he did at Siena, he turned around that program. As far as the last 3 years go, it's just been tough. I think the first year, he had 20 wins, coming into his first season, so it was positive. And then obviously the second year just didn't have the players, didn't have the talent. And then this year, I think it was a little bit more disappointing just because I think everyone thought that we had the players, thought that we had the talent. You had some shooting, you had some guys who could create. You had a guy who you think had superstar potential in Donnie Freeman. But again, injuries happen. Donnie was hurt, the first two seasons, with 9+ games each season. So that didn't help. But I think overall, it didn't seem like the guys were playing hard consistently every single game. Last season, I think the last 15 games, if I'm not mistaken, they were like 2-13. And I might have to go back and look at that. But they were there for most of those games the first 25, 30 minutes. And then that last 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, it just seems like, they fell off. They were, right there, and then they end up losing by like 20. So I think it was disappointing just because, people thought we had the talent, we had the players, and I think we did. But just for whatever reason, guys didn't want to buy in, and they didn't want to give that consistent effort and energy that you needed every single game to finish out.
Lastly, from me, Eric, you're hearing so much about this 5-for-5 rule. Do you like it for college basketball? The guys have 5 years to, complete their 5 seasons of eligibility, regardless of injury or anything. No more waivers. It's just you get 5 years, do your thing.
Yeah, so I'm not up on it. So that's what it is. You just get 5 years now instead of 4.
Well, yeah. So I mean, it hasn't passed yet, but the NCAA is trying to push it so that everybody's going to get 5 years to compete, and the idea being that they're going to take out medical red shirts and all. Like, you're not going to red shirt anymore. It's just if you get hurt, it's unfortunate, but you've got 5 years to and you get to play 5 seasons.
Yeah, it's just I missed out. I tell you that. I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong era. I would have stayed all 5 years if that was the case. But yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be different for every program. I mean, it'll probably be useful for some, and then not for the others. Same deal is the NIL. A lot of schools are struggling with it, while other schools are killing it. You see all these numbers they're throwing out, but a lot of these schools like Louisville and St. John's, there is no budget. They say they're spending 15, 16 million. And that's the thing about this era, that no one knows the true numbers, because there's no collective bargaining agreement. So nobody has to say the right numbers. They're just throwing stuff out there. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really feel either way, particularly about it, good or bad. It's just, it's just the NCAA. They're crazy. They got to figure something out and tighten up to where, there's so many moving parts. They just got to get, cement something in, and this is what it's going to be, because right now it's pretty wild.
I asked Tyus Battle a few weeks ago when Jerry was hired. I asked him about NIL, and I said, Tyus, if NIL were a thing when you were playing, would you have come back that last year? And he said, man, if NIL were a thing, you would have had to drag me out of college. Sounds like you're right there with him.
100%. I mean, some of this money. I mean, you saw what Donnie is getting. I don't know if it's true. St. John's, $3.5 million. Like, well, it's not only life-changing money. This is money that 0.1% people are getting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I would have applied for that 6th and 7th year too.
For sure.
There are palm trees in Michigan, by the way.
No, that's when you missed me with that one, because when you said palm trees, I have no clue where it would have been like a rotted tree.
No, it says windmill palm trees are featured in Michigan in Ann Arbor. So if we were ever in Ann Arbor,
we weren't in Ann Arbor though.
I don't know.
We stayed in Dearborn. No,
it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything nefarious. We just I think it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and we went to get something, and it was just sketchy. So. And
1 o'clock in the morning going to get something is sketchy.
But we were young, man. We were young.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't put me in that conversation, because now you're opening up a new can of worms.
And then I remember you in that same trip we drove to and from the game together too. For some reason.
Okay, so. that might have been more of a possibility in the first.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Devo, thanks for coming on as always.
I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
All right, you as well. Eric Devendorf joining us here on the show. We'll take a timeout. We'll wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
We definitely drove. Why am this all just popping back? We definitely drove to the arena together. It was me, and it was because they had a scout the game before, and maybe it was just after both games we drove back together. So it was like midnight one, and we stopped at a gas station for food. Remember. I'm not getting him in trouble. I think that's what it was. I think I drove over with them so they could. It was him and someone else, so they could scout the games, and then after the game we drove back, and it was 1 in the morning, and we stopped at a gas station. Who would have been on the coaching staff then, though? That it would have been me, him. Oh yeah, yeah. He's done way worse than go to a gas station at 1 in the morning with me. I don't know why Terrence Roberts pops in my head. I just came up with an idea for a book for Steve and I to write together. Yeah, there's so, like, I can't remember half the stories. Devo and I have hung out socially before. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I've tried to think of who the hell else was in the car with us. So my idea is Steve and I write like a comedy murder mystery where two radio hosts, right, who plan on murdering each other. Yeah, I would never say that, Gaper. Like, I would consider Devo a friend of mine. Man, I definitely hung out with Matt Gorman. That dude can drink. He's a nutbag.
I'm going to make your day. No overtime show.
Let's go! I've been killing it at the gym, Steve. I'm proud of myself because I'm feeling healthy.
Good. I like it.
Random year generator.
1975.
Not available.
Oh, really?
I did 1980 to 2000.
All right, 1985.
You're going to love the number one song, Steve.
I got to go teach class. I got my last class today. Last Friday class.
The number one song on April 24th, 1999 was No Scrubs. My story's like, I guess I kind of put Eric in a weird spot. Like, we weren't going to the gas station to do anything nefarious now that I think about it. I think they were scouting the game before, or a game or two before us and after us at the arena. And I drove them over, whoever it was, him and someone else. And then on the way home, we stopped at the gas station because there was nowhere else to get food or something. It wasn't like we were up to something. We were out getting 40s at one. No, we were
The palm tree thing kind of threw me off.
No, but there are palm trees in Michigan. I looked at it.
I don't. Okay, I'll take your
Google
word for it. All right, no, I will. I'll take your word for it. I didn't know that.
They may not be the typical, but it was just, yeah, it was such, I don't know why that popped into my head just as we were about to talk to him. All right, the year for April 27th, right? If I'm doing the math correctly, for Monday would be the 27th. It would be, this is going to get to a point where 1981, haven't done it yet. Let's go. 1981, top 7 songs from 1981.
Why are you so excited about 81?
I don't know, because I thought I was going to be here spinning the wheel about 15 times.
All right.
All right, that was a good show, good week. We got through it.
Any final thoughts, Paul? I'm going to Paul here for a final thought.
All right, let's end the week with a Paul thought.
Well, there you go. That's why I was sitting here just looking at Paul. I go,
Any final thoughts? Do you have any thoughts about anything?
Do I have any
Lucid
thoughts?
No?
Non-sports wise? Not really. I
don't know. What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing? I'm relaxing.
Good.
Sunday, Paulie and I might go to the Hall of Fame together.
Oh, I heard about this.
You are invited if you want to come.
I'm busy.
All right. Well, I
That's
tried.
what Paulie always says. I'm busy.
I got diarrhea that day is another good excuse. It always works.
That's about it.
Will you be invested in the draft tonight? Are you watching the draft?
I'll be watching. Yeah.
I figured you would.
Growing up, he's going to make fun of this. I used to write down every name, where they went to college, position, if the pick was traded, where it went. Yeah, I would.
It's all documented?
All documented.
Now, do you still have the records of that? That's pretty cool.
They're at home.
I like that.
Okay, you want to nerd up? I used to keep score of baseball games when I would watch them.
I do that.
Like, even if I was watching a game on TV, it wasn't a Padres game, I would write the player's name down and keep score.
You still have records of that?
I lost my virginity at 42 also. Another thing I used to do as a kid, I would make a lineup of my favorite teams, like Stratomatic. You remember that?
Yeah.
But I would play a game where I would draw out of a card, a deck of cards, and whatever the card came up on the key as, like, so if you pulled the ace of spades, it was a home run.
Yeah.
And I would keep track and play baseball games like that.
That's cool. That passes the time.
It was a lonely childhood.
That's a good creative mind.
That is creative.
Yeah.
I like creative games. All right, we got to go. For Paul, for Paulie.
Ollie Orange
What?
just said something really funny that I can't. He said, I can hear the ladies doing something. Yeah, I was not a ladies' man in the Keys. I collected baseball cards. I rode a BMX bike. Yeah, I was girl, when did you start, like, is this going to make you uncomfortable on a Friday?
Well, I do. I have class in 15 minutes.
Okay, let me just ask you, when did you, I didn't start caring about women until, like, high school.
Yeah, I would say.
They didn't exist.
Probably middle school.
Yeah. Like, I had zero interest in them until, like, one girl talked to me, and I was like, okay, I should probably shower every day now.
Yeah. I would say 7th grade.
Okay.
Is that, yeah.
I was in the baseball card.
Middle school.
Yeah. I was in the baseball card collecting club in high school.
That was a guy. I would have joined that.
All right, we got to go. I've got my last class. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. We will see you on Monday. Take care.